आज से ठीक 1 महीने पहले मैंने ये कहा था कि भाई बांग्लादेश कह रहा है कि पाकिस्तान से हम JF-17 थंडर लेने वाले हैं। उस बात के बारे में आज हमारे पास कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूज़ आई है जिसके बारे में आज की वीडियो में बात करेंगे। तो बात हमारे पास इंटरनेशनल मीडिया की तरफ से आई है। इंटरनेशनल मीडिया कह रहा है कि बांग्लादेश तैयार है इस टाइम पे पाकिस्तान से JF-17 थंडर फाइटर जेट खरीदने के लिए। तो चलिए आपके साथ शेयर करते हैं और आपको बताते हैं कि क्या बांग्लादेश पाकिस्तानी JF-17 थंडर का ब्लॉक 3 खरीदने वाली है कि नहीं। आज की वीडियो को देखेंगे।
Ever, like, I don't know, make some kind of small decision, like deciding what you're gonna eat for dinner, and then suddenly, bam, it's snowballed out of control. Like, way bigger consequences than you ever imagined.
Happens all the time.
Well, imagine that, but instead of a sandwich, it's like a fighter jet. And it's not just your dinner on the line, it's the fate of nations. No pressure.
Right. High stakes.
High stakes indeed. And that is exactly what's going on right now in Bangladesh. Their choice of a new fighter jet has the geopolitical world, well, kind of freaking out a little.
It's a perfect example of how these defense decisions, they always have these ripple effects, impacting economies, alliances, the balance of power. You can't separate them.
So, okay, let's break this down. We've got Bangladesh. They need some new fighter jets, right? Seems pretty straightforward.
Right.
But the choice isn't exactly as simple as, picking teams for a pickup game. On one hand, you've got the JF-17 Thunder, a joint project between Pakistan and China. And then on the other hand, there's India's Tejas, both of them solid jets, good tech. But like you said, there's a whole lot more to it than just, which one's got the best specs on paper.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to remember, Bangladesh used to be part of Pakistan. And their split from India back in 71, that still kind of defines a lot of their outlook.
Yeah.
Add to that, like, decades of border disputes, political maneuvering, all that. Suddenly buying your military equipment from India, it's not just about the equipment anymore.
It's a statement. You're picking a side.
Exactly. Yeah. And in this case, Bangladesh is heavily leaning towards the JF-17. That's a message, a very clear one, in fact. They're signaling a potential shift, moving away from India's sphere of influence. And that has some major implications.
Okay, so why? Why is this choice such a big deal? Help us understand.
Well, for one thing, it tells us Bangladesh is getting closer to China. China's a major player globally, of course, but they've really been expanding their influence in South Asia.
Right.
This choice gives Bangladesh access to things like China's Belt and Road Initiative. We're talking massive infrastructure investments, trade deals, things that India just hasn't been able to match.
So it's like not just about the jets. There's this whole economic angle. Bangladesh is aligning with a country that can offer them opportunities that India, at least right now, can't.
You got it. And for a country like Bangladesh, a country that's rapidly developing, they're looking to the future. Right now, China looks like a pretty good bet.
Man, this is why I love geopolitics. It's complicated.
Yeah.
But, our listeners are probably out there thinking, okay, this is all fascinating, but how does this affect me? This is happening halfway across the world. Why should they care?
Well, because whether we like it or not, we live in a globalized world. What happens in one region, it impacts others.
True.
We're talking about alliances changing, countries deciding who they're going to partner with. That has ripple effects, global trade, the cost of goods, even the stability of entire regions.
Okay, so let's zoom in on those ripple effects a little bit. We keep mentioning the JF-17, the jet Pakistan and China developed together. What is it about this particular aircraft that's got everyone so interested? And it's not just Bangladesh, it's gaining traction globally. Why?
For one thing, it's been tested. We've seen it in action, and it's got a reputation. This is a reliable, workhorse kind of jet.
So it's not all hype, it actually delivers.
It delivers. We're talking about countries like Myanmar, Nigeria, Azerbaijan. They've all added the JF-17 to their fleets. That says something. Clearly, it's meeting a need in the global arms market.
That's fascinating. So it's battle tested, but I'm guessing cost is a factor too, right? Everyone's watching their budgets.
Always.
Especially when it comes to defense. A more affordable option has got to be tempting.
100%. The JF-17, you get a lot of bang for your buck.
Literally.
It's significantly cheaper than comparable jets from the West or Russia. And for countries like Bangladesh, that's a big deal. They want to modernize without going broke.
Makes sense. So we've got a jet that's capable. It's budget friendly, but there's got to be more to it, right? I mean, what other advantages does picking the JF-17 and aligning with China give Bangladesh? This is where things get really interesting, don't you think?
Yeah, you're right. It's not just about getting a bargain on a jet. This is about strategic autonomy. Bangladesh is making a statement. They're not content to just follow India's lead. They want to do their own thing. And right now, that means closer ties with China.
Makes you wonder how India feels about all this, right? I mean, their neighbor cozying up to China like this can't be thrilled.
Let's just say it puts India in a tough spot.
Yeah.
They've always kind of seen Bangladesh as being in their sphere of influence.
Yeah.
And this move, well, it directly challenges that.
It's got to sting a little, right? I mean, they developed the Pejas, and now Bangladesh is like, nah, we're good.
More than a little sting, I'd say. It's a wake-up call. Things are changing in the region, whether India likes it or not.
Yep.
The Tejas, it's a capable jet, don't get me wrong. But it hasn't really taken off internationally the way the JF-17 has.
Yeah.
Bangladesh going with the JF-17, it tells you they're looking for other options.
Even if it ruffles some feathers with the big neighbor next door.
Politics, my friend, it's a messy business.
No kidding. Okay, so we've got shifting alliances, economic opportunities, a little rivalry sprinkled in. It's like a geopolitical thriller playing out in real time.
And we've got the best seats in the house.
Front row. But I do have to ask, what does all this mean for, the average person? Someone listening to this right now, maybe in Europe or North America, this might feel a world away.
That's the thing about geopolitics. We tend to think it's this distant thing. Happens in those fancy rooms with the big maps and the flags.
Right.
But the reality is these shifts, they have real world consequences for everyone.
Okay, I'm going to need an example. Make it real for us. How could Bangladesh choosing this JF-17 jet impact someone, say, thousands of miles away?
All right, let's take the global supply chain. You ever think about where your clothes are made?
All the time.
Bangladesh is a major player in the garment industry. So as China invests more there, you might see changes in manufacturing, shipping routes, even the price of those clothes you like.
Whoa. Okay, I never thought of it like that. So a decision about some fighter jets in South Asia could actually affect how much I pay for a t-shirt at the mall.
Welcome to globalization.
Mind blown.
And that's just one example, these geopolitical shifts. They have a ripple effect. Cost of goods, stability of global markets, it's all connected.
It's making me think, are we headed toward a world where the old alliances don't matter as much anymore? Where new players come in, shake things up?
It's definitely a possibility. And Bangladesh, they're a perfect example of this trend. Countries are done playing by the old rules.
They want to make their own deals.
Exactly. Form new partnerships.
सबको पता है कि भाई इस टाइम पे बांग्लादेश ये चाह रहा है कि पाकिस्तान से अर्जेंटली ही फाइटर जेट्स लिए जाएं। वैसे तो बांग्लादेश राफेल फाइटर जेट, JF-17 थंडर, के अलावा और सारे फाइटर जेट्स लेने की भी बात कर रहा है, लेकिन इस टाइम पे बांग्लादेशी अवाम का ये कहना है कि भाई हमें पाकिस्तान से अभी की अभी मतलब जल्द ही हमें फाइटर जेट्स लेने चाहिए। तो इस फाइटर जेट्स की अगर हम बात करें तो दो फाइटर जेट्स के नाम आ रहे हैं। पहले पाकिस्तानी फाइटर जेट का नाम है जो कि सबसे ज़्यादा रिकमेंड किया जा रहा है बांग्लादेश को, जिसका नाम है JF-17 थंडर का ब्लॉक 3। आप सबको पता भी है कि JF-17 थंडर का ब्लॉक 3 इस टाइम पे मुख्तलिफ ममालिक यूज़ कर रहे हैं। अफ्रीका के कई सारे ममालिक जो है वो इस JF-17 थंडर का यूज़ कर रही है। वैसे तो अगर हम बात करें JF-17 थंडर का तो ये पाकिस्तान और चाइना ने मिलकर बनाया है, लेकिन ये पाकिस्तानी फाइटर जेट है जिसमें अगर आप JF-10C के देखते हैं तो JF-10C लेने का भी बांग्लादेश ने इरादा तो किया था, लेकिन अभी तक लिया नहीं है।